I personally am freed from my homerism. I can return to
When you wear your blue.
I can return to objective dignity. I've been freed from the curse.
I'm wearing the gray today.
You're wearing the gray. That's right, but that's neutral. Gray's neutral. That's fine as long as there's no scarlet. So we'll just do the game recap. Toledo's going to go to a bowl. They end up second in the MAC. We'll hit on that a little bit. But
yeah.
sights and sounds, the snow globe atmosphere, the big house was great. Ohio State, first time since 2019, get off the schneid, as they say, right?
Yeah.
So he's Blade sports columnist Dave Briggs, who was in attendance professionally. I am Blade photographer and producer Phil Kaplan, who was in attendance personally and socially. So we got to take care of a little business before we get into some more nitty-gritty on the field details. Of course, the heart of the rivalry is the Blades college football show that covers the programs of Ohio State and Michigan, Bowling Green and Toledo. And we are sponsored still, Dave, by Renewal by Anderson and Dale's Bar and Grill in Maumee. This episode brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the window replacement experts backed by over 120 years of quality and craftsmanship, from consultation to installation. Renewal by Anderson makes upgrading your home easy, beautiful, and worry-free. Because I'm so journalism educated, I always want to change that to backed by more than 120 years.
Good point.
That's capital J journalism.
Hasn't been copy edited yet.
That's right. Dale's. We're also brought to you by Dale's Bar and Grill in Maumee. Whether you're looking for a table for the whole family or just a bar stool to catch the game, Dale's has you covered with a full menu of sandwiches, wraps, and salads. Combine that with 21 beers on tap, and there's something everyone can enjoy. How was your experience, Dave?
It was good. Perfect day for football in the press box, 70 and sunny up there.
Yeah, that's right.
The Tom
Pre-sip
Brady
started early, first quarter.
Oh, absolutely.
You saw Tom Brady up there?
Tom Brady, Derek Jeter. They were sitting, I don't know what box is on the press box level, but they were rolling through. And you see Eddie George was on the pregame show, rocking the Ohio State sweatshirt and the Ohio State winter hat, or the Bowling Green winter hat. So I knew Eddie George was going to be on there. I was just thinking, I hope he wears something Bowling Green, or else BG is going to be ticked. And he did. He repped.
I will tell you that when we got home later that evening after a fine steak victory dinner, we did watch the TV. I watched the broadcast.
Oh, nice.
Now, I did not see Eddie in his BG hat, but that does fill me with joy. As much as seeing Tom Brady wear those terrible yellow glasses.
Ridiculous. Huge win for Ohio State. Understatement of the year. I do think personally, given that Ryan Day won the national title this year, if you asked him, gave him truth serum, I think he would rather win the Michigan game than win another national title. Now you're free to chase both. Just an all-around...
Excised demons, Dave.
I mean, there's no more buts. I mean, Ryan Day was 81-10 before this game, but he rescued a house of burning kittens and saved the world. But he won the national championship last year, but he couldn't beat Michigan. Now there's nothing more you can doubt Ryan Day about, nothing more you can say. He has it all. Since the loss to Michigan last year, 16 straight wins, absolute wrecking crew. And I think it wasn't just how Ohio State won that was so satisfying for them, or it wasn't just that they won, it was just how they won. I mean, they made the huge plays and the two big touchdown passes from Sand to Smith and Tate, and Ohio State has an explosive offense, but it was just kicking Michigan's ass at the line of scrimmage on both sides.
Which was something that they just wanted to do in a gut check kind of way.
And Michigan, that had been Michigan's identity in the Harbaugh era and under Sharon Moore. I mean, it was the smash identity. Ohio State dominated the line of scrimmage defensively, just put freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood in a blender, and offensively, that had to be so satisfying to just kind of run the ball down Michigan's throat at the end of the game with, I think it was a 20-play, 80-yard drive with 16 runs that bled 12 minutes off the clock. I mean, that was an absolute Michigan special from the last few years, and that was I know Ohio State would have liked to punch in the touchdown there, but that was a statement that this Ohio State team's a little different.
For a non-game-winning field goal drive, I think that's the most incredible field goal drive I've ever seen. 12 minutes a clock. 20 plays, 16 runs. I mean, I know that's what
Crazy.
you all said,
Yeah.
but just watching that unfold, knowing that it was just a
Right.
slow
Yeah.
turning
And
vice
Michigan
on
knew
Michigan's hope.
Michigan knew what was coming, just like Ohio State did in the past.
There was so much to enjoy about this game. I think if you were prepared for it, the weather was great. There wasn't a ton of wind, but I want to play a little game with you of what we can extract from you, what you thought were the best moments. This game is called High, Low, Ha. Have you ever
Okay.
played this game?
I have not.
People do this on vacation sometime. You come back,
Okay.
you say, well, what was the high point, the low point, and the funniest point?
Okay.
So, what was the high point of this edition of the game for you, Dave Briggs?
The high point of this year's game, it was probably just from the big picture, seeing the scene afterward of just Ryan Day smiling as if the weight of the world had been lifted off of him. People had said all week that there was a different look in his eye, and that just kind of all rings hollow when you say that in advance. But in hindsight, maybe they did have a different feeling about this team. They reprioritized this game by not making it the end all be all internally. It still means everything, but they tried to get back to the routine. They flew up there. They did everything like they would for a normal week. Several players afterward talked about and I know this sounds like a cliche, but inside the locker room, I'm sure it means a lot. Playing for the love of your brother, not for the hatred of your enemy. And maybe that's part of it in the past. I don't know.
Hallmark feels.
Right. Maybe, I mean, just Michigan is so in your head and you just get wrapped up so much in the hatred and wanting that revenge. Maybe they needed a mental reset and they finally found a formula that works to let their superior talent take over. And granted, it's Michigan. This isn't a vintage Michigan team, but last year sure wasn't either. So just seeing Ryan Day afterward, hard not to be happy for him, given how bleak the scene was after the Michigan game was last year,
and so heartwarming this year.
Right, and just from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, it kind of had a national championship feel just for what it meant to all Ohio State people.
Well, that's a great segue. Take us to what you thought the low point of Saturday was.
Well, I mean, if the low point if you're a Michigan fan or if you're a Ohio State fan, you tell me. Now you play the devil's advocate, being the Ohio State fan. What's the low point?
I think the low point for any contest is the Michigan player headbutting the referee.
Yeah.
And you told me his name, and I've already lost it. Jayshon Barnum. And
that was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. I want to say, I'm one of these guys that's like, people don't pay to come to games to see players get kicked out.
Yeah.
So good on the referees for knowing this a high passion game, but man, you got to think if that happens any other game, that dude is gone in a heartbeat. Just a heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh, I think, yeah. I mean, he should have been obviously gone in a heartbeat. It's funny seeing those still photos of just he didn't completely like smash his face in, but it's kind of smushing his face in a little bit. And it's I've told you the first Browns game I ever went to.
Oh boy,
in 1999.
Only took us 8 minutes. To
get to the Browns. It was in November, and it was when Jeff Triplett accidentally throws the flag in Browns lineman Orlando Brown's
Zeus
eye.
Brown ends his career.
Yeah, in his eye. Orlando Brown's furious. He can't see, and he goes over to Jeff Triplett and gives him the two-handed shove to the ground. And, of course, he gets ejected, suspended. That really should be the same thing that happens to Jayshon Barnum. I mean, you're headbutting an official. I don't know what the circumstances was. Maybe he was saying, hey, Ohio State players are headbutting me. You're missing this. But that was that was completely ridiculous. I mean, that would be if that happened, and maybe there will be things that happen after the fact. I imagine the Big Ten will step up and say you're suspended for the bowl game or whatever. But to not be ejected
first quarter
and
suspension,
be thrown out for the rest of the season, that seems like the bare minimum for something like that.
Usually, even if you brush up against a referee and it appears to be intentional, you're gone.
Right.
And it's not like he was like, oh, and he turned his head and there was the ref. He was like, listen, rap.
I'd have to hear an explanation, and
I look forward to that.
I think the explanation from I believe it was Cole Knippel was the lead official, and he afterward, I think it was said maybe it was the intent, or I don't know. They showed some grace, and like you said, it's a high passion game, and you want to let you want to let the fans see what they've come for, and that's headbutting of officials and the players playing. So it's and by the way, interesting side note, I believe 99% sure that Cole Knippel, the lead official on that game, is Todd Kowalczyk's brother-in-law, the
There's
Toledo
always a
basketball
Toledo
coach.
connection. Just
And
always.
it's Con Knippel, Todd's wife Julie's sister's son is Con Knippel, the former Duke basketball star who's now starring in
He's
the NBA. He's
balling in the NBA,
season.
really?
Yeah, he's awesome.
He
And
is.
that's Con's uncle. So
Wow.
it's Todd's, I don't know what Todd's brother-in-law, and so that's an interesting connection.
Well, that's quite
But
a
yeah,
nipple of a pickle.
and then you had the controversy with the Jeremiah Smith bobbling out of the end zone, and I still don't know. I'm sure it's just one of those things for a Michigan fan or an Ohio State fan. I think objectively it was probably a touch. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Somebody will have to completely.
I saw that if he had gone out of bounds and lost control of the ball,
Yeah.
then when he after he'd scored and the ball had gone out of his hands, I think you'd have an argument. But because the ball just sort of temporarily comes loose, but he regains, it never hits the ground or
Yeah.
anything. He never totally loses control of it, and his foot was in. So I think that's whatever. But I got another low point for you in terms of
Okay.
just on the field, if you're an Ohio State fan, which is first play of the game for Michigan, 40-yard run, right?
And then Julian Sain interception.
And then we hold him, Julian Sain interception. And at that point, all the demons are unlocked.
know.
And you just say, do they just have
Right,
a
a
voodoo
block.
spell
Yeah.
on Ohio State? But our defense, so strong. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the Ohio State, I've returned to objectivity.
Oh, yeah.
The Ohio State defense, so strong to hold to another field
Yeah.
goal. I thought that was just outstanding. And that gave me a great deal of relief.
Yeah.
And I didn't ever feel like they were going to lose that game. It really did.
Yeah. And with the blue, I think we're a Michigan podcast today. So Michigan is we today. I was disappointed by
Part of the rivalry,
by our response to the loss to Ohio State afterward. I thought our players could have handled it better.
Is that right?
I also, not a low point. Are we going to funniest moment?
We can if you
Okay.
do. You have another
Yeah.
low?
No.
No,
This
let's
is
do hot.
low / funniest moment. It's just Michigan's faux tough guy act afterward last year, and I'm an equal opportunity flamethrower here. I said the same thing about Ohio State last year after the loss. You just lost as a 20-point favorite at home. I froze.
Oh
I
no, he
froze. I
glitched.
froze. No,
That's
you
the
lost
funniest
as
moment of the heart of the
that's
rivalry.
No.
You embarrassing last year, though.
You lose the 20-point favorite at home and you save your biggest fight for after the game, and I get it. I mean, it's clearly in hindsight that rally around the flag, literal moment, was a key to what happened next, and the team kind of coming together and fighting like hell to win a national title and the run they went on. But it's just interesting to think that Michigan's players immediately after the game went out to midfield to guard the block M in case to guard against the hypothetical flag planting from Ohio State, the very flag planting Michigan did last year. So apparently it wasn't an issue last year, but it's just funny to think that Michigan's players were on the sideline talking about what they were going to do after they lost. It's just not really a conversation you imagine like people having. I hope it happened during the game. You would hope Michigan's players weren't talking in the gym the night before the game. All right, boys, if it doesn't go our way, you know what we have to do. We're going to march right out to midfield and we're going to reinforce that M, like guard it like World War II, a munitions hub. And like, they are not stepping on our M. But anyway, it was. It all makes for fun. It was. In the grand scheme of the rivalry, it's just good to have it be a rivalry again. It can't be a rivalry every year, it can't be a rivalry if Michigan wins every year.
Did sweeten the pot last year. I did appreciate what Ohio State did, just going to sing songs with their fans.
Yeah.
That was a very sweet moment. But
Were
of
you
course,
singing with
Dave,
them?
of course.
All right.
Carmen, Ohio gets right to the fields these days. Okay, but of course, the funniest moment by far, Brutus, the Buckeye.
Yeah.
And I was able to, just as I got my camera out to start recording it, the grounds crew came up and swept it all away. But he was able to do his own little script Ohio in the corner and then X out Michigan. And that was all over the social media, and it was hilarious. And I love, I just think
And
Brutus,
what was the number one social media joke? Brutus spent more time in the end zone than Michigan. Har, har, har.
It's the funniest mascot, man.
I know.
It's funny. And he's only 60 years old.
Yeah.
I also think that's hilarious.
Brutus,
That a couple girls at Ohio State invented Brutus in the mid-60s.
He did a good job with that OHIO. I mean, it was
really
very
strong.
quick.
Very observant, Dave. Very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
He hit it just right.
Yeah.
Of course, he's done it. He's probably seen it 1,000
That's
times.
true. That's true.
You know what else was kind of cool? Not a high-low ha moment, just a low-key cool moment. And I don't remember seeing this in the past. I'm sure they've done it. But the best damn band in the land, Ohio State's marching band, did a little mini Script Ohio.
Okay.
You see that little tiny, those little tiny Script Ohios?
I like it.
It was nice. It was about 1/4 the size of Script Ohio.
Well, if you don't have the time, you only have. Are you talking about at halftime?
No, they did it
before the game.
They did it before the game.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you have a tight window. You just got to go boom, 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 get it in.
You know, and they put the band way up in the one of the top end zoned corners that was sort of straight across from me. But they just
I like it. They race through it. That's why you do it in Script. I mean, that's what Script is faster than writing. So that's why it's not a block OHIO.
If I knew where the visiting band was sitting and I was a visitor to another stadium, I would look to get a couple rows in front of the band.
Yeah.
Because they were just over there rocking the whole game.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun. And you love when
at the very, very top.
At the very top, and they're playing, and then the Michigan band decides we're going to drown out the visiting band, and then they're both just playing. Amazing, absolutely amazing.
One point of clarification: people kind of, why is Ohio State's band given the worst seats in the house? They used to be close to the field. That's not Michigan's thing. That's Ohio State. They get a certain allotment of tickets, and clearly they want to give the best tickets at Michigan Stadium to their donors and people like Phil. When meanwhile the kids
closer to the back row than the front row.
Kids in the band who are busting it all year round for your university, you're just stealing their seats.
I can't believe I caught a stray there. Man. It was well attended by Buckeyes, though, also.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of red.
When I saw it, I thought 2021 and 2023, it was almost all Michigan, but this was kind of harking back to the 2017, 2013, 2011, or 2000.
They got a little OHIO going at the end. 07, I don't know if you know that also.
Oh, yeah. That was impressive. And what do you think? 15,000 Ohio State fans?
I think easy.
Yeah.
And they were all over outside.
Right.
Okay. He's Dave Briggs.
And I don't know if you saw on TV, it looked like, in the stadium, it looked like a lot of red. From whatever the magic of the lens and however red shows up on TV, it looked like the entire stadium was scarlet on TV. Did you notice that on TV it looked even more red than in person?
I did not. By the time I was able to watch the TV replay, I might not have had my attention as sharp as when I do the full 22 game recap. I do my scouting.
Even though you were enjoying some sharpeners?
Speaking of scouting, we will look forward to what the game means to Ohio State going forward, Michigan going forward. We could have a one-man edition of Hot Seat. Is that correct?
We could.
He's Dave Briggs. I'm Phil Kaplan. We'll be right back with more on the game. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh, okay. So
Indiana.
You love singing the IU fight song, and what will be an exciting game, but maybe the
most meaningless 1 versus 2 game ever.
Least consequential 1 versus 2 game ever played.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on and they'll play it at Lucas Oil Field in Indianapolis?
First of all, with a 12-team playoff, this is absolutely why they need to get rid of the conference title games. For the Big Ten and SEC, you're never going to have...
Are they in the business of throwing money away, Dave?
No, they're not.
They're
not. But at some point, you're going to have to look at how many games these quote-unquote student athletes are playing. And do you really want... I mean, can you imagine having an Ohio State-Michigan game in back-to-back weeks? That would kind of devalue a brand that is probably worth like a third of your TV contract. So I don't know. I think there are bigger picture questions that we will save for another day. This is a football podcast. We don't know anything about business. It's exciting. 1 versus 2. Julian Sand versus Fernando Mendoza. Probably whoever has the best game on Saturday and their team wins will be the front runner to win the Heisman the next week.
Speaking of Heismans, Dave, what? Who else is the front runner?
We got a 3-man race. Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame. So the Heisman people send out to us Heisman voting schmoes little trinkets. We got some over here, but the latest one is Jeremiah Love was one of the running back for Notre Dame. We've got the Candy Love Hearts and a nice little love letter. It's a love letter to football. Among the vibrant, picturesque autumn scenery of the campus of Notre Dame and the grassy fields of fall, you can feel love is in the air. Jeremiah Love, that is. And at the end, to watch Jeremiah Love is to fall in love with the game of football all over again. And I know that's how you felt on Saturday with your Buckeyes.
And you've been wooed.
I have.
All your ethics always dubious, easy to overcome.
And I was going to have a candy here, but yeah, I think it's a 3-man race. Jeremiah Love, Julian Sayin.
So it's a 2-man race, though, after the Big Ten championship.
A 2-man race after the Big Ten title, but
I think it's still going to be a great college football game, if overall meaningless to the ultimate seeding or outcomes. I do think, though, like you say, we just in terms of football, just like best offense in the country versus best defense in the country. So that alone is exciting. Different future plans for Michigan. Their bowl game will be announced December 7th. 2 big problems sit there for Michigan is your all-world $30 million quarterback, Bryce Underwood, appears not to have the ability to throw the ball.
Is that a big deal?
And is that Sharon? Is that bad? and is that Sharon Moore's fault? Both in terms of development or game plan, or does he just need more time? And is Sharon Moore on the hot seat?
I think he is, and I think it's a problem with
I
mean, it's Sharon Moore. It's no secret I questioned the hire when it happened. It kind of felt like a rush job continuity hire, and what's the point of a continuity hire when there's no continuity? You were losing from that national championship team when Harbaugh left for the NFL in late January. You lost 13 NFL draft picks, 17 starters. Harbaugh took his top deputies, strength coach, coordinators, every top lieutenant except Sharon Moore. So there was no infrastructure left in place. So the point of hiring him was to retain the talent that would help you finish 7th and 6th in the Big Ten the last 2 seasons. That's what you're going for? So I didn't get it from that perspective. If you look at Ryan Day, you could say he was a continuity hire, but at least you kept the key points of your infrastructure. You kept the strength coach, Mickey Marotti. You kept Mark Pantoni, the recruiting guru. You kept some of your top assistants. So it was just ready. It was a turnkey operation in a way, and we've seen Ryan Day elevated to an even higher level somehow.
Born on third base,
and as is Sharon Moore, I guess. And with this, the 5-loss first season, I guess it's understandable. It was going to be a transition season with Harbaugh regardless. 9-3 the second season, I guess it's okay on paper. It's kind of what you would have expected with how young they are. And it's 18-year-old freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood. But it's just such a hollow 9-3. They played only 3 ranked teams, and they got hammered by all of them, Oklahoma, USC, and Ohio State. So it just feels like they're far away. Both in terms of far from the national elite and just far from their old identity. If you watch Ohio State punish them on the lines, I mean, that's not the Michigan football we've been used to the last few years, and that has to be concerning. So, yeah, for everything they've invested in Sharon or in Bryce Underwood, $12 million, and they've invested a lot in this roster around him. I don't think he'll be extended the same grace that Harbaugh was when he fell on hard times. I think it's absolutely now or never time for Sharon Moore next year. Not necessarily playoff or bust, but you better be in that conversation on Selection Sunday, or else I think they're going to move on pretty quickly here.
Let's say they lose their playoff game.
Next year?
Or not playoff, I'm sorry. Let's say they lose their bowl game this year. He's still there at the start of next year, though.
I would think.
Okay.
And for sure. Barring any off the field scandals that could arise.
Yeah, something anomalous. Right. But just in terms of football alone,
for sure,
he's got a job starting next year.
No
matter what.
I mean, I would think I'm not in those discussions, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm not in those discussions.
I mean, you wonder what's wrong with the program. So that's it right there. Tell us what Toledo's got to look forward to.
Well, we're on the wrong. They win their finale at Central Michigan, kind of a meaningless game in the sense of the MAC title race. Toledo and Ohio are both blocked out of the MAC title game by the weird 3-team tiebreaker that sent Miami, despite having lost Ohio and getting slaughtered by Toledo. They will get in the MAC title game over Ohio and Toledo, despite having the same record. So that's probably something they need to clean up in the language. But yeah, just Toledo will find out their bowl destination on Sunday. It's a weird season. Hard to really sum up anything about it. I wouldn't necessarily.
Kind of a heartbreaker of an 8-4.
Yeah, it's not a good 8-4. I guess you could call it a disappointing 8-4. I mean, with this level of investment and everything that was set up to win this year, with a fairly easy MAC schedule, to not even get to the MAC title game, I don't really know how you could spin it as anything but a disappointment.
Their two MAC losses are fluke losses also.
I know. Credit the character of the team for, after falling to 4-4 against Washington State, to keep going. 4 dominant wins to close the season. The program is so close with just the right adjustments, or if things could fall into place. But up there, did you see LeBron shouted out our local guy Luke Montgomery on Twitter?
I did not see that.
Yeah, he said
Montgomery had a good game.
Oh, he was awesome.
Yeah.
How about, you think it's possible that, first of all, you know what Ohio State's record is with Luke Montgomery in the starting lineup?
Please tell me. Is this our stat of the day?
16-0.
Yeah, baby.
After the loss to Michigan last year, they start playing Luke Montgomery, or I guess I don't remember if he started the Tennessee game. Certainly played a ton and played great. So Luke Montgomery, the key to all of this, just absolute.
The good luck Buckeye himself.
Kicking ass, taking names on the line. He's been awesome. And before the year, I said he's an All-American candidate. I don't know if he's quite there. I think he should be in the mix, but he's and next year he'll be he's trending toward a high NFL draft pick.
If Michigan had both of their running backs healthy, for the whole game, is it a game?
No,
still not a game.
Oh, both of their running backs, Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall. It could have been more of a game, but I do think Ohio State's defense would have eventually just kind of wore down their offensive line and been able to shut them down in the second half. But yeah, it absolutely could have been. And it could have been if that bobble with Jeremiah Smith had been turned around. I mean, that would have been another kind of Murphy's Law scenario where it's like, God, can anything go right against Michigan? And it would have kind of added to the angst and the doubt. And who knows, maybe it would have been close going into the fourth quarter and you're one play away from a weird thing happening. So for once, things went Ohio State's way, and I guess that's just how it eventually turns.
Things are always going Dave Briggs' way. Things are almost always never going my way, but that's what makes the heart of the rivalry, which is, of course, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson and Dale's Bar and Grill in historic Uptown Maumee. Catch all the college football action as well as NFL. Big playoffs coming soon. At Dale's, one of the premier Buckeye bars in Northwest Ohio. Wolverines still welcome. Renewal by Anderson. If you're ready to transform your home with Renewal by Anderson, buy one window or door and get another 40% off, but only through the end of the year, which is rapidly approaching. Schedule your free consultation today at renewalbyanderson.com. You got your 2026 goal list all set up already?
I do.
Yeah. What's number 1 for 2026? More screen time? You want to do more screen time?
Yeah. I just hold it when I'm sleeping, just like.
That's how you sleep? Is that that might be the cause of the problem. All right, Dave. This is a great recap show. I'm looking forward to these playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Give us a score, Ohio State, Indiana.
Say Ohio State 27, Indiana 17.
Yeah, Ohio State 50, Indiana 13.
Okay, that's fair.
See you next week, Dave. So nice to not have to know the reason why.
I know. Do we know the reason why Michigan lost other than being...
That's not part of their lore. They never know the reason why.
This is for the...